This meeting of the Indiana Gaming Commission is called to order. Mr. Hogue, would you call the roll?
Sure. Chairman Embry,
Present.
Commissioner Cohen,
Present.
Commissioner Hellman,
Present.
Commissioner Fine. Here. All right. We will show we have a quorum, and since we have one commissioner appearing telephonically, all votes will be taken via roll call.
With that, we'll consider approval of the memo and the minutes. Commissioners, have you reviewed the executive session memo and meeting minutes from December 18th, 2025?
Yes.
And do you have any questions on that? Is there a motion with respect to the memo and meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
And a second?
Second.
If you call the roll?
Chairman Embry,
Yes?
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
Yes.
All right. Unanimous.
The vote is unanimous. Mr. Hope, the floor is yours.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the March meeting. It feels like it's been many a moons ago that we were here in December. We've had holidays since then. We've had legislative sessions. We've had 80-degree weather. We've had snowstorms out the wazoo. So it is nice to see all your shining faces again together. Everybody's all dressed up. So as far as staff updates, I can provide that we have one update to provide. Haley McBride has joined our Charity Gaming Division as a program coordinator. She has a background in education and multilingual communication. Haley earned her diploma in early childhood education from Methodist College in Kuala Lumpur and has spent much of her career as an early years educator. She's also served as a medical interpreter, using her ability to speak four languages to support communities in clinical settings. So we are happy to have her on board and great to have her partner with Heather and the team in Charity Gaming. In terms of reinvestigation, our Background and Investigation Division has completed its reinvestigation of Rush Street Interactive, AGS LLC, and Sports Hub Regulatory. Those confidential reports are a part of your records, and both our directors, Leek and Brown, are here in attendance should you have any questions on those. For an exclusion update, we can provide that since our last meeting, 17 individuals have been added to the Commission's exclusion list, with the updated information being available on our website. That brings a total of 1,148 individuals on the state's exclusion list. In terms of waivers that have been issued since our last meeting, all casinos were granted a waiver to have the aggregate credit ticket amount raised to $5,000, which waived a provision of 68 IAC 15-2-3. The French Lick Casino was granted a 90-day trial period to conduct private craps games on half of a standard craps table with one box person, one stick person, and one base dealer. That waived provisions temporarily of 68 IAC 10-4-1E. As far as Epic Software, they were granted a waiver to the requirement that a central server be responsible for randomization on the electronic pull tabs. That waived a provision of 68 IAC 21-10.5-1. Caesars Southern Indiana was granted a waiver to the requirement of maintenance of lost funds. The previous threshold was $50, and now that threshold has been raised to $100, with all the other procedures to be continued and followed as before. Not really a waiver, but an update from the Commission to all of our casino licensees in regards to the requirements as it relates to on-site and off-site storage. Our last directive we were shown was from a fax in 2006. So I want to thank Scott for pointing that out to us and giving us a good opportunity to review what the requirements are and having a fresh look at that. And lastly, we've granted a waiver to Eclipse compliance testing. The waiver is in regards to 68 IAC 2-6-1E1B, which temporarily waives certain contracting requirements while leaving all other requirements in place. This waiver will cease upon our RFP next year for testing labs, and Eclipse services are limited to electronic pull tab, and raffle system utilized in the charity gaming space. So that's a mouthful. So information on all of the waivers is again available on our website. As far as authority that was delegated to the executive director based on prior resolution delegation, under that authority of 2025-150, the executive director was granted temporary authority to adopt rules provided that any such actions are reported at the following commission meeting. On December 22nd, 2025, I approved Order 2025-154, which adopted interim rules related to the charity gaming e-tabs and e-raffles, which is necessary to implement the requirements of Senate Enrolled Act 108, 109, and Indiana Code 432.3-3. So, big breath there. Since we've last met, as we mentioned before, it was a very busy legislative session, and there were two, I guess, big hits that came out there from the Gaming Commission. The headliner was obviously House Bill 1038, which provides the process for a new casino to be located in Allen, DeKalb, and Steuben County, as selected by the commission if certain parameters are met. The key amongst those parameters from the outset is that a local referendum must be passed at this upcoming November election in each of those counties. And if the local referendum does not pass, then no application may be accepted by the IGC from that county. So we've gotten lots of questions. We've had lots of meetings thus far, both with, I would call it the industry and both the municipalities and counties, just kind of answering questions and things of that nature. In terms of a timeline, a lot of this is laid out in statute, but what I can provide is that the IGC staff will make applications available on our website on or about July 1st. And included in that application will be directives, a frequently asked questions section, all those to assist in helping the applicants make preparation for filling out the application. If you've ever filled out an application in the state of Indiana, whether it was with Terre Haute prior or before, that application is going to look very similar. But we also understand that a lot of time and thought is going to go into that application. It's not something you're just going to be able to start the November 5th after the election and have it done by the time that it's due by December 1st. So that'll be July 1st. After that point, like I said, those applications are due sometime between November 5th and December 1st, 2026. Once we get all those applications in, then by January 15th, 2027, we will post all of those copies of the applications on our website and separately provide an informational summary on our website of the applications that have been submitted. That summary will look very much like the summary we did for Terre Haute before, so that that's what should be anticipated. Once we reach that point, the commission will hold a public meeting to have each applicant make a 30-minute presentation and answer any questions the commissioners may have, which would essentially probably be just about a year from today, the way that the timeline lays out. Applicants will make their presentations in the order in which the applications were filed with the commission. So an interesting wrinkle of the law as it provides is that the commission must issue also written findings. So I would anticipate that a vote would be taken for, against, or what have you at the meeting in March of next year. Then the written findings would come out within the deadline of April 15th, 2027. But obviously the commission would need to take a public vote to select the award winner. So yeah. So my son is very much into choose your own adventure books. So he always, and also is always very interested in asking me what I do at work. And so I've been telling him we're going to build a new casino. And in his mind, he's thinking Joe has the hammer and the nails and like doing the measurements and things like that, which is funny because I'm not really that handy at all. And so he asked, well, when's it going to happen? Well, I tell him it's just like, this King Arthur book we've been reading. And so in some ways, the adventure goes, we meet the dragon at the end. In other ways, the adventure goes, we meet the princess at the end. And so a lot of things could happen, or really, honestly, nothing could happen if the referendums don't pass. So what I can assure you is that the commission will be ready and we will be informed, and any responsibility that comes to us, we will be handling professionally, just as we have done in the past. So that is what I have on 1038. On another big win, I think, for the commission, was House Bill 1052, and what that provided, which has now been signed by the governor, did a number of different things, both for our agency and for other agencies in our business vertical. But what it did for us, it established civil penalties to be leveled by the commission for those entities that conduct online sweepstakes gaming in the state of Indiana. So I'd like to thank the governor and Secretary Speedy for their support on this, as well as both Chairman Manning and Alting for carrying the legislation. I would say the real work on our side was done by Natalie, by our since departed legislative director Nate Friend, and also Alex Heckner, who's the chief of staff for Secretary Speedy, engaging in numerous conversations with a whole host of different stakeholders explaining why we thought that this was a good idea as far as a term of gaming policy for the state of Indiana. So I'd like to thank the casino licensees and the sports wagering licensees as well. They were helpful, whether it be an official meeting or what I would call a hallway discussion to try to continue to advance this measure. I'd like to thank the American Gaming Association for some information they provided us along the way, as well as Light and Wonder in their efforts. And lastly, I'd like to thank Matt and the Casino Association. Matt, I don't know if it was impromptu, was called upon at one of the committee hearings, and he gave a resuscitation of the history of sweepstakes gaming going all the way back to Rome. So I don't know if he was expecting to do that, but again, I was very happy. He was on board and ready to provide that information. So my sincere hope is on this measure, it goes into effect July 1, is that, that's the last you'll hear about it from us again, because all the operators will go and move on, knowing that it will be civilly, they will be assessed penalties if they provide. But I can assure you that if those operators still wish to stay here, we will be ready July 1st, and those fines will come if they still continue to operate in the state of Indiana. So thank you to everybody for their help in getting that through. One last thing, we're starting to get official numbers in on electronic pull tabs. Those were passed into law during the 2024 session, and we've gone through the intermittent rule package to get those up and running. That intermittent rule package, as I mentioned before, was signed on December 29th of 2025, and so I wanted to provide some stats to both, I guess, everybody that's in here, as well as we'll have this information soon online. But recall that EPTs, those who could participate, were fraternal and veteran organizations. One of the 581 organizations that were eligible to implement electronic pull tabs, 509 have moved forward and done so. There are approximately 2,562 EPTs installed in our state now at all these different charitable organizations. And our primary distributors are Arrow, Grover, and J&J, not Johnson & Johnson. I'd like to thank all three of those guys. They're not guys. I'd like to thank all three of those companies and their representatives. Lots of discussions took place between the time the legislation was passed and by the time it went active, as far as what the rules should say, what they shouldn't say, how other states are doing it. We didn't always agree, but when we did not agree, we did so respectfully, and I'm really proud of the product that came out, and both in terms of, the effort on behalf of our charity gaming people, Bob, our attorney that was assigned to that, and everybody else that was involved. What I would call coin in or dollar in since December 30th of 2025 has been just a tad over $56 million. So over the course of, let me see if I can get that. So that'd be over $200 million if that projects out over the course of 1 year. I think 574 million was, or somewhere around in there, was the charity gaming gross revenues from last year. So you're looking at adding a 50% increase in those gross incomes. And so one of the things that charity gaming has been out and about and talking to orgs about is because the orgs are taxed on, they're not packages really when it comes to the electronic pull tabs, but they are taxed when they purchase the product. But when they come to get relicensed with us on an annual basis, their licensing fee is based on how many sales they had the year before. So for orgs, if they're seeing a 40% increase in sales of the EPTs, they're going to probably see a very similar corresponding increase in their licensing fee next year. So Heather and the group are also reminding them that they need to be good budgeters to ensure that they have the money at that point next year, and also be cognizant of the 60-90 rule, which is provided in statute, that they need to be aware of, that if they fall into, I would say, into that zone of money that's being raised, that they will need to make sure that they plan accordingly. So with that, that is our EPT update. And just lastly, she's not here today, but I wanted to give a shout out to what I would call one of the unsung heroes of the Gaming Commission, and that's Stephanie McFarland. She is our comms person that takes all our media inquiries in. Steph and I met about 6 years ago, when I was at same positions at the Department of Labor, where we were going through COVID and dealing with OSHA. So those were wonderful times to remember. But Steph was, and still continues to be, she's very smart, she's very thorough, and she's also willing to asked me sometimes to look at something through a different lens, and that's just a fancy way of saying, Joe, I think you're wrong here. And I've always just appreciated her and the services she provides. You, the industry, probably won't see it, but going forward between now and when a new operator, if one is selected in Indiana, she will be very busy on our side because we will be getting a number of questions from the media and so forth, and she is there to help us respond. So thank you, Steph. And with that, that is the executive director's report.
Okay. Well, Mr. Hogue, while you have the floor, would you administer the oath to the presenters today?
Sure. If you're presenting today, if you could please rise. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you will give today will be the truth? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any old business to be brought before the commission today? I don't hear anything from the phone either. So seeing none, we'll move on to new business. The first item on the new business agenda is the presentation of Order 2026-001 involving a boxing and MMA matter, and Attorney Chris Neal will present that. Chris, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Commissioners, Executive Staff. You have before you Order 2026-1. This order involves a settlement agreement reached between Commission staff and mixed martial artist Jose Perez, whereby Mr. Perez agreed to pay a fine in lieu of disciplinary action. Approving Order 2026-1 would have the effect of ratifying the settlement agreement entered between the Commission and Mr. Perez. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Neal on this presentation? If there is none, is there a motion on the settlement agreement?
So move.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve this settlement agreement, Order 2026-001. Would you take the roll, please?
Yes. Chairman Embry?
Yes?
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
yes,
Order 2026-001 is approved. Mr. Neal, if you'll stay, you've got a little more work to do. License renewals.
Yes. You have before you Order 2026-2 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-33-7-8 and 68 IAC Section 2-2-8. A supplier's license must be renewed each year along with the payment of a $7,500 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. That would be IGT, Halifax Security Incorporated, Zubid LLC, Data Financial Incorporated, Incredible Technologies Incorporated, Interblock Luxury Gaming Products LLC, TCS John Huxley Europe Limited, X Group Holdings Incorporated, MSC Gaming Incorporated, Genesis Gaming Solutions Incorporated, Amelco UK Limited, Sport Radar Solutions LLC, Surveillance System Integration Incorporated, Ecobra Limited, L&W Gaming Inc., and Patriot Gaming Electronics Incorporated. Approving Order 2026-2 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year.
Any questions for Mr. Neal? If there are none, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
Take the roll.
Chairman Embry?
Yes?
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
yes,
Order 2026-002 is then approved. Next.
And next on the agenda, you have before you Orders 2026-3 and 2026-4 regarding the renewal of Centaur Acquisition LLC doing business as Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park LLC doing business as Harrah's Hoosier Parks casino owners licenses respectively. Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park have both filed the proper paperwork and paid their renewal fee. Previously, by Orders 2025-3 and 2025-4, the Commission had approved the written powers of attorney for Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park respectively. These approvals expire upon the renewal of the casino owner's license, and for that reason, all casinos must request renewal of the Commission's approval of the written power of attorney concurrently with the request for renewal of the license, or present the Commission with a new written power of attorney, naming a new trustee in waiting. Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park have both stated their intent to maintain their existing trustees in waiting and have not presented the Commission with any modifications to their power of attorney. Approving Orders 2026-3 and 2026-4 would have the effect of renewing the license and approving the power of attorney for Horseshoe Indianapolis and Hoosier Park for a period of 1 year. And next, you have before you Order 2026-5, pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-38-6-6, A vendor's license must be renewed each year, along with payment of $50,000 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal, along with the required payment. Hillside Indiana LLC, doing business as Bet365 for French Lick. BetMGM LLC, doing business as Roar Digital for Belterra. Smarkets USA OpCo, doing business as SBK Indiana for Rising Star. And FBG Indiana LLC, doing business as Fanatics for Hollywood. Approving Order 2026-5 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. And finally, you have before you Order 2026-6, pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-33-24-15 and 68 IAC Section 26-3-10, a paid fantasy sports operator license must be renewed each year, along with payment of a $5,000 renewal fee. FFPC LLC has submitted a timely request for renewal, along with their required payment. Approving Order 2026-6 would have the effect of renewing the paid fantasy sports operator license for a period of 1 year. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Neal on any of those orders? Okay. So we're deliberating right now on orders 2026-002 through 006 together. Is there a motion with respect to those orders?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Chairman Embry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
Yes.
All are approved. Orders 2026-002 through 2026-006 are approved by the commission unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Neal.
Thank you.
Next is a matter involving permanent licenses on orders 2026-007 and 08. And Director of Financial Investigations, Danielle Leak, will present.
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Staff. Orders 2026-7 and 2026-8 will approve the permanent paid fantasy sports operator licenses for FFPC LLC and Better Holdings, Inc. Both companies have submitted the required applications and received temporary licenses issued by the IGC. Commission staff conducted background and financial investigations and found no material derogatory information that would affect suitability of the applicants. Staff's final reports have been provided in the confidential commission meeting documents. Approving orders 2026-7 and 2026-8 will grant permanent licenses to FFPC LLC and Better Holdings, Inc., subject to annual renewal. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners have any questions for Ms. Leak? Thank you. That being the case, is there a motion to approve those two orders, 2026-007 and 8?
So moved.
And second,
Second.
you call the roll, please?
Chairman Embry,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
Yes.
It is approved unanimously. Thank you. We now have presentation of orders 2026-009 and 10. Assistant Director of Sports Wagering and Paid Fantasy Sports, Leah Foster, will present.
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Staff. You have before you orders 2026-9 and 2026-10, which would approve the sports wagering service provider license for Curo Gaming Incorporated and Catalyst Sports Incorporated, respectively. The applicants both submitted the required application to the IGC and have been issued a temporary license. The commission staff conducted a background and financial investigation on the applicants and found no derogatory information that would affect suitability of the applicants. Staff's final report is included in the confidential materials that were provided to you. Approving orders 2026-9 and 2026-10 would grant a permanent license to Curo Gaming and Catalyst Sports. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Ms. Foster? Everybody's thorough today. Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve 2026-9 and 10. All those, call the roll, please.
Chairman Embry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
Yes.
Both orders are approved unanimously. Thank you. We move now to disciplinary actions, which will be orders 2026-011 through 2026-024. And presenting will be Director of Compliance, Mark Mason.
Good morning,
Mr.
Commissioners,
Mason.
executive staff. Before you have 14 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary actions from casinos, suppliers, and sports wagering operators. We have 2 suppliers. In order 2026-11 is a settlement agreement with Aristocrat wherein the supplier violated the rules of the shipping of electronic gaming devices. Aristocrat has agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,500. 2026-12 is a settlement agreement with Every Payment, Inc., wherein the supplier violated the rules for shipping electronic gaming devices. Every has agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,500. Now we'll move into casinos. We have 8. 2026-13 is a settlement agreement between Bally's Evansville and includes 3 counts. In count 1, the casino violated the rules for live gaming device fills. In count 2, it violated the rules for progressive jackpot transfers. And in count 3, they violated the rules for currency transaction reporting. Bally's Evansville has agreed to a monetary settlement of $8,500. In 2026-14, a settlement agreement between Blue Chip Casino, wherein the casino violated the rules for manual jackpot payouts. Blue Chip Casino agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,000. 2026-15, settlement agreement between French Lick Casino, wherein the casino violated the rules for live gaming device fills. French Lick Resort Casino has agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,500. 2026-16 is an agreement between Terre Haute Casino Resort and includes 2 counts. In count 1, they violated the rules for currency transaction reporting. And in count 2, they violated the rules for main bank procedures. Terre Haute Casino and Resort has agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,500. And additionally, they've agreed to produce a corrective action plan to improve their compliance with respect to currency transaction reporting. 2026-17 is a settlement agreement between Horseshoe Indianapolis, wherein the casino violated the rules for progressive electronic gaming devices. Horseshoe Indianapolis has agreed to a monetary settlement of $5,000. 2026-18 is a settlement between Rising Star Casino, wherein the casino violated the rules of the voluntary exclusion program. Rising Star Casino Resort agreed to a monetary settlement of $13,000. 2026-19 is a settlement agreement with Hard Rock Casino, wherein the casino violated the rules for live gaming device fills. Hard Rock has agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,000. 2026-20, settlement agreement between Harris Hoosier Park, when the casino violated the rules for electronic gaming devices. Harris Hoosier Park has agreed to a monetary settlement of $1,000. And then we have 4 sports wagering operators. 2026-21, settlement agreement between Bally Bet, wherein the sports wagering operator violated the rules for restricted patron accounts. Bally Bet has agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,000. 2026-22 is a settlement agreement between FanDuel Sportsbook, wherein the sports wagering operator violated the rules for restricted patron accounts. FanDuel has agreed to a monetary settlement of $6,000. 2026-23 is a settlement agreement with Hard Rock Digital and includes 2 counts. In count 1, the sports wagering operator violated the rules for restricted patron accounts. And in count 2, the sports wagering operator accepted wagers on unapproved events. Hard Rock Digital has agreed to a monetary settlement of $2,500. 2026-24 is a settlement agreement between Fanatics, wherein the sports wagering operator violated the rules of restricted patron accounts. Fanatics has agreed to a monetary settlement of $3,000. The relevant details of each settlement agreement has been provided to you in your meeting materials, and each settlement agreement will be available on the Commission's website following the meeting. Mr. Chair, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. Are there questions for Mr. Mason from the Commission? Seeing none, we're addressing orders 2026-011 through 2026-024 inclusive. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve inclusively.
Is there a second?
Second.
Let me call the roll, please.
Chairman Embry?
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
yes,
All orders are approved unanimously. Thank you. Next up is Zach Watson, Deputy, I was going to say Attorney General, Deputy General Counsel.
Used to be a deputy attorney general.
That's right. We just kind of move around
Yeah.
sometimes, right? On orders 2026-025 through 26, concerning transfer of ownership and financing requests. Mr. Watson?
Morning, Commissioners, Executive Staff. Commissioners, you have before you order 2026-25 concerning the partial transfer of ownership involving Majestic Star Casino LLC doing business as Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana, which holds a permanent casino owner's license and certificate of authority to conduct sports wagering, and SHRE/SHRI LLC, a current partial owner. Under 68 IAC 5-2, casino licensees that are not publicly traded companies must comply with certain requirements before transferring an ownership interest to protect the Indiana Gaming Commission's interest in the suitability of licensees. The policy goal of 68 IAC 5-2 is to ensure that a party seeking an ownership interest is suitable under the Commission's licensing standards. However, in this transfer, the entities and key persons involved are already licensed and have previously been found suitable. The Commission found that the transferees were substantially compliant with Indiana statutes and regulations and found no derogatory information that would affect the transferee's suitability to hold additional ownership interest in Majestic Star Casino LLC, doing business as Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana. Approving Order 2026-25 would have the effect of approving that ownership transfer. Also before you, you have a financing request concerning Order 2026-26, concerning two requests received from casino licensee Bally's Corporation for approval of proposed financing transactions. In addition to seeking permission to act on the proposed financial transactions, Bally's Corporation also requested a waiver of the 2 meeting requirement in accordance with the Commission's authority contained in 68 IAC 1-2-13. Pursuant to 68 IAC 5-3, casino licensees, applicants, and affiliates seeking debt transactions at or above $1 million must seek approval of the debt transaction from the Commission. Commissioners review these transactions to analyze the financial health of the entity and ensure that the entity will not lease, hypothecate, borrow, or loan against the license in the transaction. Pursuant to 68 IAC 5-3-2B, the regular procedure for acquiring approval of a debt transaction requires Commission consideration of the debt transaction at 2 consecutive Commission business meetings, which is referred to as the 2 business meeting requirement. The Commission may waive the administrative requirement pursuant to the authority under 68 IAC 1-2-13 when it's determined that the rule is impractical or burdensome. Waiver is in the best interest of the public and the gaming industry, or the purpose of the rule can be fulfilled by alternative means. The confidential details of the proposed financial transactions, as well as the Commission staff analysis, are provided to the Commissioners in your confidential materials. Approving Order 2026-26 would have the effect of waiving the 2 meeting requirement and approving Valley Corporation requested debt transactions subject to the following conditions. First, the terms articulated in the final financing documentation do not materially differ from the terms that were presented in writing for formal approval. Second, the term of the final documentation do not violate 4-33 or 4-35. Third, Bally's Corporation must provide the Commission with legal opinion demonstrating compliance with Indiana Code 4-33 and 4-35. And finally, Bally's Corporation must close on its respective financial transactions by certain dates.
On those 2 orders, does the Commission have any questions for Mr. Watson? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve on orders 2026-25 and 26?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, we call the roll, please.
Chairman Embry,
Yes?
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner Hellman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
yes,
Both orders are approved unanimously. And you're still on stage. This time we'll be discussing orders 2026-27 through 52.